permits that are given for people to hold event at Steamer Lane, and this is one of them. The kayak event has been taking place for about 30 years now, I believe, and for the past few years, Surftech has partnered with them to bring to you stand-up paddleboard surfing. And this is what we're going to be looking at coming up here in just a few minutes. Right now is about 1:45, and the men's final heat is about to come up with some of the world's best talent. There will be an interesting mix of progressive and traditional surfing style. And for those who are watching who don't know what stand-up paddleboarding is, it is a combination of surfing with a paddle. So let's take a look at the athletes who will be in this final. Here we have the first paddler profile. That is Chuck Lynn, all the way from San Diego, California, born in the USA. He is 24 years of age, 6 foot tall, 185 pounds, and he has a goofy stance. Now, Chuck Lynn is a bigger guy compared to the typical surf contestant out there. With about 185 pounds, he can definitely use a bigger board, and that's definitely what he's doing. He's going for more of a traditional style, more longboard style. You're going to be seeing some walking to the nose, like knee drop, slow turns, but milking the wave all the way in. That is Chuck Lynn. Be on the lookout for him. Chuck Lynn also came second in yesterday's race. This surf event that you're looking at is a part of an overall event that combines surfing with racing. Yesterday we brought to you in high definition, brought to you by Supconnect, the race right along this cliff here at Cowles Beach. And Chuck Lynn came second right behind Slater Trout. So be on the lookout. Chuck Lynn is already set to be poised to be the overall winner of this event. Also in his heat is Tommy Loy. Tommy Loy is from Dana Point, California, also a Southern California boy, and also not a very lightweight boy. He's 26 years old. He's 6 feet tall and 2 inches. And 200 pounds, and also a goofy footer. Now, this wave is a right-hander, so a lot of these guys will be working on their backside. What it means for goofy footers is that they're going to have their backs to the wave, making it much more difficult for them to manage and handle the maneuver. So the fact that you have Chuck Lynn and Tommy Loy, two goofy footers in the final, is an incredible feat, and congratulations to them. So the other rider we have is also a goofy footer, and that is Dave Bainey, also from Southern California. Dave is 36 years old. He is 5 feet and 10 inches tall, weighs 160 pounds, so on the lighter side, and also a goofy footer. So 3 out of the 4 contestants, we have 3 goofy footers in this final. All these 3 coming from Southern California, and all of them working on their backhand. Out of those 3, Chuck Lynn will be going more with a traditional style. Tommy Loy will be mixing both traditional with progressive, and Dave will be the epitome of progressive style in this heat. Together with them, and this is the solo regular footer, and that is Brandon Rambo. He will be surfing on his front side. Brandon is also a Southern California boy from San Clemente, and he is 23 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, and 165 pounds. So a very interesting lineup here. On the one hand, you have 3 goofy footers and up against Brandon. So it is a goofy footer's day to lose in this men's final. But if you break it down even further, you got a traditional, but like big boys on one side with Chuck Lynn and Tommy Loy. On the other hand, you have like some lighter weight guys with Brandon Rambo and Dave Bainey. Also, another way to look at it is the difference in style. You have Chuck Lynn being the farthest guy on the traditional side of things. Then Tommy Loy mixing some nose riding with some progressive maneuvers. And on the other side, with the more progressive style, you have Brandon Rambo and Dave Bainey on the more progressive style. So what you should be expecting from them is more radical turns up and down the face of the wave, and probably deeper in the pocket as well, because most likely they'll have smaller boards that fit close to that white water in a way that the bigger boards can't do it. However, Tommy Loy has an interesting mix. He is riding an 8-2 board, and he also nose rides that board quite a bit, and also throws it in the pocket, up and down without having to worry much about purling, because it does have a pulled-in nose. So a lot of different things happening. As far as the lineup, you're going to be looking at a very complex lineup with shifting conditions. The tide is dropping, but the boys will be jousting for position, because the way this works is you have 4 guys out, all of them stand-up paddle surfers with different kinds of boards and a paddle in hand, jousting for the best position. And what is that? The person who is deepest in the wave, that is closest to the white water, has priority. So if you're farther out in the open face, in the green part of the wave, and you drop in with somebody coming from the whitewash, that's called an interference. And with an interference, you either have your highest score dropped, or you have, instead of having 3 waves counting, you have only 2 waves counting. So you want to make sure that you're deepest in the pocket, closest to the white water, and you also want to have the earliest takeoff. That will give you priority. With that in mind, these 3 guys are going to be pushing deeper and deeper and deeper into the wave and the takeoff. However, there are 2 things to consider. Number 1 is, if you're too deep, you lose the face of the wave, and you need the face of wave to score your maneuvers. Another thing, too, that worries you if you're going deeper and deeper is that you're closer to the rocks. And right here, the way that steamer lane is set up, it is a point break, and the wave wraps around the point with a lot of rocks. So if you're too deep, you're going to be closer to the rocks, and you might not make through the sections and have to worry about maybe smashing into the rocks or have your fins broken. So these guys are going to have to be jousting for priority, and yet they have to also think that I got to have the wide open face, and I have to avoid the cliff. And so, but if you don't go deep, another guy will go deeper, and then you lose priority. That's the chess game that we're dealing with. On top of that, you have currents, and you also have winds, and you also have a changing tide. So you should look at it as a chessboard with changing conditions, okay, and changing everything. So the ground is shifting below your feet, on top of you, around you, and then you have the dynamics of the other competitors. So it will be incredibly exciting. As far as the judging criteria, what are we looking at? Well, the top 3 waves will count. These guys have 20 minutes. They will have about a 5-minute head start to be able to get in the water and paddle out to the lineup. And then once they get there, they have 20 minutes. As soon as that clock starts ticking, okay, these guys are on a mission to get 3 waves with the highest score possible. Previously in the heat, you can go for second, because in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the earlier rounds, the top 2 advance. But not so here. Okay, here this is the men's final of the stand-up paddleboard surf contest at Steamer Lane in Santa Cruz, California, and you want to go for the top spot.
Okay, we have Tyler Lawson again, kind of like working that inside.
Okay, we got some replay of previous waves that these guys have surfed. So as we're leading into the heat here, let's check them out. And the replay is brought to you by Oakley, so at the Surftech Shootout. Here we have, this looks like that's Brandon Rambo. Brandon Rambo in green in an earlier heat. Notice how that water comes from behind him and just pushes from behind him. If you get caught by that white water, you are falling backwards, because a lot of your body placement is to go with the wave. Then next, here we have Tommy Loy. Look at that placement, right in the pocket there, close to the white water. Another beautiful turn. You see how he whips it around really well. Another turn, And that's what the judges want to see. He sets up for a cutback, goes off the white water, and with a lot of speed through the whole ride. Here's Chuck Lynn. Chuck Lynn is the more traditional rider. He has a bigger board. As you can see, the wave is not offering much for him to work with, but there we go, some footwork. He goes to the nose, goes back to the white water, looking for a little bit more speed to score more points. It looks like the wave is going to line up, and he's going to set up for a turn off the top here, paddle switch, and there goes Chuck Lynn. Here is, on the other hand, on the other end of the spectrum, here is Dave Bainey, one of the most progressive riders in this contest, definitely the most progressive rider in this final heat. You should be seeing a lot of incredible turns coming from him. But if you notice, his board is not that long. And that means he's going to be standing right on the tail of that board and trying to whip around that board as much as possible, also throwing a lot of sprays. So that's a little bit of the action that you can expect from these boys. Now, you know who deserves a prize in all of this? I do, because I called it right in the semifinals. 100% score right here. I said Tommy Loy, Brandon Rambo, Dave Bainey, and Chuck Lynn, and I was right on. So I went. I don't know. I didn't have any money on it, but I probably should have had some money on it, because it's pretty nice to see that the judges also saw it as I saw it. That means I am keeping you guys on the same page with the judges of the contest. So these judges, unlike other judges, they are looking for a variety of maneuvers. So that takes us to the judging criteria. There are three things that typically, these are, I don't know, what do we call them? The three golden rules of competitive surfing. Three things that the judges will be looking for. Number one, they want to see the longest ride. So number two, they want to see the person who is riding the wave closest to the pocket. That is that place where the white water transitions into the open face of the wave. That's the pocket right there. That's where you have the most, that's where you're able to drive the most speed for your surfboard. So number one, they want to see the longest ride. Number two, they want to see the rider who's deepest to the pocket. And number three, the most radical maneuvers. If you can get those three things in, you'll be getting some high scores. Now, the fourth thing that you want to try to throw in the mix, and this could be the catalyst and help you make it or break it, is the biggest wave. So if you are able, if you're riding a bigger wave, you will also tend to score higher. And if you combine it all and you get your recipe to put you on top of the scoreboard, that is exactly what you should be aiming for. So this is the Surftech Shootout. Right now is 1:55. It's about 5 minutes to the men's final. So 5 minutes leading to the men's final. Let's check out the people that we have in the water here for the men's final. There are 4 stand-up paddle surfers. Brandon Rambo from San Clemente, California, USA, born in 7/14/1989. He's only 23 years old. He is 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 165 pounds. He's the only regular footer in this heat. That means he's the only guy who will be riding this, in this final on his front side. The other rider in this final, this is the winner of the overall event here. He was second in yesterday's stand-up paddle race. That is Chuck Lynn. He is a big boy from San Diego, California, born September 2nd, 1988, 24 years old, and 6 feet tall, weighing. There we go. We got the surf contest already going. That was not the final. That was not 5 minutes leading to the contest. That was the transition. And the men's final is on, ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to pick some tunes.
the final of the Surftech Shootout 2013, all the way from Steamer Lane in Santa Cruz, California, one of the most prestigious breaks in the surf world. And you're looking at one of the greatest, some of the greatest talent in stand-up paddle surfing. Riders now, like I said before, they're jousting for position. So moving along, here's Dave Bainey. He is the other rider in this heat from San Clemente, California, 36 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 160 pounds, and he's also a goofy footer. He's going to be working this wave on his backside, going incredibly progressive. Tommy Loy, also from San Clemente, California, 26 years old, 6 feet 2 inches tall, a big boy weighing 200 pounds, and also a goofy footer. Tommy Loy combines both traditions of both schools of surfing, both the traditional and the progressive surfing. He's a guy who's able to run to the nose and also get some very radical maneuvers right in the pocket there. I am Andre Niemeyer, and I want to give a shout out to Maui Gym. I haven't given them a shout out, but these are the sunglasses and the shades I am wearing here, and it's been great to do this webcast and not have my eyes injured by the sunshine. I just went to the eye doctor the other day, and I always thought, well, you know what, you got brown skin, you're a good beach boy, you shouldn't have any problems with your eyesight. But I went to my doctor, I got a little bump there on my eye. He said, hey man, you got to start wearing your sunglasses. So shout out to Maui Gym there for the sunglasses. This is the men's final. Also shout out not just to Surftech for putting this together, but Ocean Minded is one of the sponsors, together with Joe Bark, Quick Blade, Cove Water, a local shop here. And this webcast is the world's first stand-up paddle webcast on location in HD, full-on HD from the Supconnect crew. So if you want to engage, the hashtag is SurftechSO13. This is Tommy Loy. Tommy Loy up and riding, the man in pink on his backhand. Got a beautiful nose ride, now looking for a little bit more face, pumping down the line, going for the roundhouse into the white water. It looks like there will be a reform. On the right of your screen there is Dave Bainey looking for a beautiful roundhouse. And on the left of the screen is Tommy Loy trying to wrap up that ride. So there is an incredible wave from Dave Bainey, the San Clemente boys, bringing it home. So pink and blue, just, you know, starting the men's final hot and running. So up and riding. Incredible rides there, both of them on their backhand. If you want to engage with us, if you have thoughts on what's going on or who's going to win, tweet us, hashtag SurftechSO13. SurftechSO13, SO Surftech 13. So here we have up and riding is Chuck Lynn, the man of the hour, who is winning the overall contest. Chuck Lynn is up and riding on his backhand. There we go. That's the trademark knee drop right there of Chuck Lynn. On the outside, we have the man in blue, in green. That's Brent Pascoe. And here we have Chuck Lynn working that on the inside. There we go. Another. That's the thing. There we go, knee drop. The fact that he's riding a more traditional board allows him to connect sections that the other riders can't. Look at that nose ride. Beautiful footwork. If the judges are going for a diversity, oh, it looks like maybe he will go for a helicopter. He popped his tail, and Chuck Lynn got a helicopter. Now, that was a maneuver we saw earlier with Anthony Vella, and here Chuck Lynn pulling it off in the final. Now, the judges have said and made it loud and clear they're looking for diversity of maneuver, not necessarily just progressive or traditional. So Chuck Lynn has listened and heard their call, and variety of maneuver on that. So up and riding on the outside is Brent Pascoe, the man in green. Brent Pascoe going around that section looking for some open face and staying tight in the pocket. There is Brent Pascoe. Amazing action. Amazing. All the way on the outside, we have a set coming through. Doesn't look like we have a lot of riders in position. But Chuck Glenn got a very long ride. Dave Bainey got some incredibly radical maneuvers. Brandon Rambo had a good wave at the start. And Brent Pascoe is looking for a higher score, but he got a good wave right now. So it's still a very open field. I cannot call the heat. It's too early to call the heat right now. But Chuck Lynn did have an incredibly long ride and a great variety of maneuvers, with Dave Bainey going on the progressive style and also scoring some very high points. And let's see, we got a set on the outside, trying to see what these guys are going to do here. The wind is starting to blow really hard, but from the northwest, but we are sheltered here, and that's why the wave still maintains and keeps a very good shape. Up and riding is the man in pink, Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd from San Clemente, California. One of the greatest and one of my favorite stand-up paddle surfers in the world. Look at that. He is a guy who can really mix it up. You can tell him, hey, go progressive. He can whip that board around, go traditional. He can ride that nose like no other. Beautiful style as well. Look at that. Tommy Lloyd. He looks like he's going to connect that section. That is incredible. He's working that paddle, but not quite. A bit too much water there. Okay. So if I had to give you the rundown of these heat, I would say that, okay, let me call it. I have a 100% success rate so far when I call it. So let's see here. I say Chuck Lynn is leading with Dave Bainey right behind him in terms of points in this heat, followed by Tommy Lloyd and then Brent Pascoe. And then Brandon Rambo right there in the mix. All the way on the outside, we have Brent Pascoe going for a bottom. Nope, that is Brandon Rambo. And Brandon Rambo, there we go. And Brandon Rambo goes for a little bit of a roundhouse. Will this wave allow him to connect? No, kicks out. Brandon Rambo. That's one of the things that, as you are there working yourself around the maneuvers and trying to stay on your feet, you have to make a call. Do I stay with this wave and try to milk it to get that long ride with more maneuvers, or do I bail, kick out, and go back to the lineup to get a better wave? If you make the wrong call, you're going to be trying to milk the wrong wave. You're going to end up nowhere. So these guys already have a lot of adrenaline pumping, a lot of things happening, and they have to make that call as well. You're watching what I say is simply the most dynamic sport and contest in the world. Okay, the playing field is changing all around you. And the playing field is turning all around you, and these guys have to deal with all kinds of complexities. There is no fixed hoop, there is no fixed net, there is no line on the ground, and there is no referee in the water to hold back when the blood is running a bit too hot. These guys are running hot, and the wind is howling, the current is moving, the surf is changing, and they have to make calls all the time. The wrong call sets the boys apart, the men apart from the boys. So if you can think of a more challenging, more complex sport out there, these guys are not just working their minds, they're working their bodies and in a changing playing field. So if you can think of anything that can be more demanding than that in terms of competitive sports and athleticism, let me know. I haven't seen it yet, and I like to do a lot of different things. So anyway, here's a little bit of the behind the scenes in the webcast. People are just lining up along steamer lane. watching the contest, and we got thousands and thousands and thousands of you watching the webcast. I want to give a shout out to Ustream. This webcast here, the world's first webcast in HD for stand-up paddle surfing, brought to you by Supconnect. Ladies and gentlemen, has made it to the homepage of the #1 site for webcasting in the world. So shout outs to Ustream. Thanks a lot, the guys at Ustream. I met with them at one of the trade shows, the New Media Expo. Just a great crew out there, and we're really stoked to have made it to the homepage of the #1 webcast website in the world. So wherever you are, if you want to join in the action, there is the hashtag SurftechSO 2013. We also have another hashtag, which is hashtag SurftechSO, just the number 13. So 2 hashtags for you to join in the action. If you missed any of the action, either the semifinals, the quarterfinals, or the women's final, you can go to our Ustream channel, and if you just type in supconnect.com, supconnect.com/live, you'll be taken to our Ustream channel, and there you can watch on-demand previous parts of this webcast in full-on HD. So while we're waiting for some of the action on the outside, the guys now are going to be really intense and, again, jousting. Whoever takes off deeper on the wave has priority. And here is Brandon Rambo. See, that's the trick. So Brandon took off on this wave. He had priority. He was deepest. But he was too deep. The wave did not wrap around, did not bend around the corner, offering that beautiful open face for him to do much with it. There is Tommy Loy. Look at that. Beautiful, stylish ride. Tommy Loy off the nose, off the top, trying to get around that section there. Maintains his speed off the top again. Keeps riding off the top again. It looks like it's going to line up nice off the lip. And Tommy Loy, just everyone. San Clemente rider. He's riding an 8'2". He weighs 200 pounds. And he stands 6 feet 2 inches tall. So a big boy like myself. I weigh about 185, 190 pounds. And I am 6 feet tall. So all the way on the outside, it looks like we have Dave Bainey. He's up and riding on his feet. Off the lip, gets a beautiful turn. He's going to set up for the roundhouse here. There he goes, off the white water. Looking for another cutback off the white water. As you can see, like Dave Bainey is our progressive rider here. Beautiful paddle transfer. Setting up for another turn and goes for a 360. There we go. That's what the judges want to see. Dave Bainey doing a 360 from his tail. That's it. A variety of maneuvers. That's what the judges called for. And Dave Bainey heard their call, and threw in a beautiful 360 turn at the end of that ride. So up and riding on his backhand, looks like Chuck Land. Oh, beautiful climbing off the lip. Is he up and riding? Oh my goodness. Now, let me give you a little bit of an insight here. That is rarely done, okay? So what happened there, Chuck Land came from behind. He was in the white water. That means you don't have a lot of speed there. That white water is about to catch you. And he's riding a big, big, big board.